Welcome to my YouTube channel again. Today we are talking about a poem by Sir Walter Scott. The title of the poem is Patriotism. In our today's discussion we shall be talking about the poem in terms of its paraphrase, summary, Nepali discussion, analysis and stanza wise analysis. I am sure you will accompany me till the end of this video. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel, and if you think this video is worth watching, please recommend to your friend and fellows. Okay, here we go with the poem here, and this is the poem by Sir Walter Scott. The title is Patriotism. Here is a paraphrase. It is difficult to believe that any man can be so spiritually dead as to have no love for his native country after traveling to foreign lands. But if such an unpatriotic person does exist, take careful note of his career, and you will find that you will never impure poets to celebrate him in deathless song. He may be a man of high rank or of noble family and of riches beyond the dreams of avarice, but this great advantage will not save him from oblivion. In spite of them all, you will win no fame during his lifetime, and when he dies, he will die in a double sense. His body will return to the dust whence it came, and his name will be forgotten. None will weep for him, no one will honor him, and no poet will keep his name alive in immortal poetry. So this man is wretch and he has no value at all. And here is a summary. The poem tells us how far a person can call himself a true patriot. The poet has firm ideas of his own as to what these qualities are. To be a true patriot, a man must recognize the land of his birth as his motherland or fatherland. He must feel homesick when he is away from his motherland, the land of his birth. He must feel excited, enthusiastic and even impassioned at the thought of his returning there. He must look beyond himself and his own needs and desires. He must take care of the needs of his country and compatriots. Any native person who does not have these feelings and commitments is not truly alive. He has no soul. He will die unremembered and unmissed. Okay. Now let's go with the discussion of the poem in Nepali. सर वाल्टर स्कटले लेखेको कविता देशभक्ति. यो शीर्षक नै यस प्रश्न छ. यो देशभक्तिको बारेमा छ. अब देशभक्तहरूले देखाउने भावना हो. कस्तो मान्छेहरू देशभक्त हुन् र कस्तो मान्छे देशद्रोही हुन् भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ कविले यहाँ चाहिँ बताउन खोजेका छन्. जो मान्छे ठुलो पदमा रहेर पनि आफ्नो देशको माया मान्दैन, अनि त्यसपछि ठुलो खानदानको भए पनि धेरै सम्पत्ति छ, प्रशस्त छ, तै पनि अब उसले चाहिँ देशको बारेमा कुनै चासो राख्दैन भने त्यो मान्छे अब देशको लागि केही काम छैन. उसको बारेमा अब कसैले आँसु पनि चाहिँ झार्दिँदैन र उसको बारेमा केही शब्द पनि कोर्दिँदैनन्. उसको मृत्यु सामान्य मान्छे मरे जस्तो हुन्छ. त्यो अब त्यस्तो खालको चाहिँ कसैले चाहिँ एउटा ठुलो एकदम चाहिँ जीवन्त कालजयी कविताहरूमा उनको एउटा रचना, उसको जीवनको बारेमा कसैले लेखिदिँदैन. यो तिनै कुराहरूको चाहिँ एउटा सन्दर्भ बोकेर यो कविताले चाहिँ यहाँ भन्दैछ. यो देशभक्ति शीर्षकको फुटकर कविता स्कटल्यान्डका कवि सर वाल्टर स्कटद्वारा रचिएको राष्ट्रभक्तिको भावना बोकेको एक कालजयी कृति हो, कालजयी रचना हो. 19औं शताब्दीको पूर्वार्धका स्वच्छन्दतावादी कविहरू विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ, स्यामुएल टेलर कलरिजसँगै एक ठुलो एउटा आयाम सुरु गर्ने कवि सर वाल्टर स्कटको यो कविताले स्कटल्यान्डलाई आकर्षक र सहानुभूतिपूर्ण बनाउने प्रयास स्वरूप रचिएको देखिन्छ. त्यस बखतको स्कटल्यान्ड र स्कटहरू बर्बर र जङ्गली स्वभावको मानिन्थे, अनि तिनीहरूलाई सभ्य बनाउन र तिनीहरूको चाहिँ एउटा देशप्रतिको भावनालाई चाहिँ प्रष्ट बनाउनको लागि चाहिँ कवि एक्लैले स्कटल्यान्डप्रति भक्तिभाव जगाउन राष्ट्रप्रेमको आगो सल्काए. त्यो राष्ट्रप्रेमको आगो सल्काउने एउटा भावना यस कविताले बोकेको छ. त्यसको माया नगर्ने व्यक्ति उसको आँखामा नीच कहलाउँछ. उसको भन्दा कविको आँखामा यो कविताले मानिस कसरी आफूलाई सच्चा देशभक्त कहलाउन सक्छ भन्ने बारेमा बताउँछ। कविसँग देशभक्तका विशेषताहरू आफ्नै किसिमका थिए। सच्चा देशभक्त हुनका लागि मान्छेले आफ्नो मातृभूमिलाई चिन्न सक्नुपर्छ। परदेशमा छँदा देशको यादले बार बार सताउनुपर्छ उसलाई। स्वदेश फिर्दा उसको मन उद्वेलित हुनुपर्छ, उत्साहित बन्नुपर्छ र घर कतिखेर पुगिन्छ होला भनेर अधैर्य बन्नुपर्छ। उसले आफूलाई भन्दा राष्ट्रलाई र आफ्नो आवश्यकता भन्दा राष्ट्रको चाहना र राष्ट्रको चाहिँ खाँचो परेको बेलामा राष्ट्रको लागि योगदान अथवा बलिदान दिन कतिखेर तयार छ, अथवा अहिलेको वर्तमानभन्दा राष्ट्रको भविष्यलाई चाहिँ उसले वर्तमानसहित भविष्यलाई चाहिँ उसले राष्ट्रप्रतिको कस्तो भावना बोकिरहेछ त्यो कुरा हेर्नुपर्छ। अब सबै चिजहरूसँग मिलेर देशवासीहरूसँग मिल्नुपर्छ। देशवासीहरूसँग सबै एउटा एक होस्टेमा हैँसे लगाएर देशको लागि चाहिँ लड्नुपर्छ, देशको लागि विकास गर्नुपर्छ। कुनै देशवासीसँग यी भावना र प्रतिबद्धता छैनन् भने ऊ मृत सरा हुन्छ। त्यस्तो मानिस एउटा चाहिँ दुई पटक मर्छ। कवि भानुभक्तले भने जस्तै जिउँदै मर्याको भनी नाम कसको, उद्यम बिना वित्त छ काला जसको। त्यस्तै भानुभक्तले भने जस्तै चाहिँ जिउँदै मरेको मान्छे हुन्छ। अब उसको शरीर यहाँ जीवित भए पनि उसको आत्मा मरिसक्यो। त्यो शरीर मात्रै भएर के काम? त्यो जुन शरीरमा देशभक्तिको आत्मा छैन, देशप्रेमको भावना बोकेको आत्मा छैन, त्यो शरीर व्यर्थ शरीर हो। उसको आत्मा छैन, ऊ देशको लागि जिउँदै मरेसरा हो। उसको मृत्युमा कसैले एक थोपा आँसु पनि चुहाउँदैनन् अनि कसैले चाहिँ बिलाउन गर्दैनन्। कतै हरायो भने कसैले खोजी पनि गर्दैनन्। उसको बारेमा कुनै कविले उसको मृत्यु पश्चात शोककाव्य रचना गरेर उसको चाहिँ एउटा जिन्दगी मरेपछि पनि उसलाई चाहिँ जिउँदै राख्ने काम गर्दैन। अब ऊ धनी होला, सम्पत्ति प्रशस्त होला, ठुलो खानदानमा जन्मेको होला, धेरै विदेश घुमेको होला, ठुलो पदमा बसेको होला, तर त्यो स्वार्थी मान्छे जसले देशको माया मान्दैन, त्यो मान्छे कुनै सान्दर्भिक अथवा कुनै देशको लागि चाहिँ काम लाग्ने मान्छे होइन। हो त्यसो भएर उसको शक्ति, पद, गौरव हुँदाहुँदै पनि उसको मान हुँदैन। वास्तवमा त्यस्तो मान्छे नीच हो। त्यस कारणले कविले के भन्छन् भने कोही मान्छे आफू सम्मानित हुन चाहन्छ भने उसले देशभक्तिको भावना बोक्नुपर्छ, देशप्रेम जगाउनुपर्छ, देशको लागि लड्नुपर्छ। त्यस्तै भावना हाम्रा गोपाल योन्जनले रचेको कवितामा देशले रगत मागे मेरो बलि चढाउनु, रुँदिनन् मेरी आमा ऊ नेपालकी छोरी भनेर एउटा चाहिँ देशको एउटा लागि चाहिँ कस्तो खालको चाहिँ भावना बोक्नुपर्छ त मान्छेले, कुनै पनि देशको मान्छेले, नागरिकले कस्तो भावना बोक्नुपर्छ त भन्ने कुरा यहाँ चाहिँ यस कवितामा प्रष्ट हुन्छ। यो नै हो कविता। जुन राष्ट्रप्रेमी भनेको को हो र राष्ट्रप्रेम भनेको के हो? राष्ट्रप्रेम नभएको मान्छे जतिसुकै ठुलो पदमा एउटा जतिसुकै ठुलो खानदानमा जन्मेर जतिसुकै देश देशावर घुमे पनि उसले देशको लागि केही योगदान गर्दैन भने उसको जीवन व्यर्थ हुन्छ। That's all with Nepali discussion. Now let us go with the analysis. The poet in this poem deals with the theme of patriotism. He feels that a man who loves his country is great. He is the real son of the soil. The poet hardly believes that there would be anyone who has no love for his native land. There is perhaps no one whose soul is dead at the feeling of his land. A person with such feeling to love for nation is worthy of our praise and honor. Whenever he returns home, often wandering from the foreign lands, he is welcomed warmly. But the man with no such feeling is bad name for the nation, and he does not closure any praise and pleasure. No minstrel tries to praise him or honor him. A patriot deserves all kinds of praise and affection. He is given high respect by his countrymen. If he comes back from foreign countries, he is worthy of reputation. If he come back with no patriotic feeling of his own nation, he is almost dead. Even after his original death, No one pays tribute by weeping and minstrel, but a man of patriotic feeling. The people of entire nation remember his death. Poet admires him through their poem and say that a patriotic person never dies with death of ignominy. As the title indicates, Scott's poem is designed to discuss the importance of love and of one's land, that is motherland or fatherland, that the land of the patriots, the land of their ancestors who died and fought for the nation, who sacrificed their life for the nation. In this poem, Sir Walter Scott illustrates the quality of patriotism. The love and respect for one's own country is called patriotism. And this patriotism, Sir Walter Scott deals with the similar theme of patriotism. The poet talks about a man who has now no native land. Such a man gets praise and position everywhere. Minstrels honor him with all pleasure. Even after his death, he is remembered forever. His death becomes a national mourning. The poet also says about the person who has no patriotic feeling for his nation. Such a man does not deserve anything. Despite his power and position, he lives unknown and dies unnoticed. No one weeps for him, as the person the poem only presents the aspects of patriotism. The title becomes appropriate. This title is justified. In this poem, the poet talks about spiritual ideas such as that of the soul in terms of how far a person can call himself a true patriot. Sir Walter Scott talks about spiritual ideas such as that of the soul in terms of how far a person can call himself a true patriot. To be a true patriot, a man must recognize the land of his birth as being his in common with his compatriots. He must not only recognize the land he was born on, but love it too. He must feel homesick when away from his motherland and excited and enthusiastic, impassioned and even on the thought of his return there. As the title indicates, Scott's poem is designed to discuss the importance of love of one's land. The first quarter of the poem extols the life and spirit of patriotism and the results of life devoid of it. The poem explores the implications of what happens when one is stripped of land and identity associated with it. Being a native of Scotland, perhaps this is where there is some personal reflection in addressing the loss of one's home or the absence of it through war and political strife. Essentially, Scott argues that no matter the amount of personal wealth and titles, that the identity one gains from their own homeland and nation trumps all in fulfilling one's identity. While reading the poem, we have to keep these ideas in mind and pay attention to the imagery of how Scott brings out the reality of both being in love with one's country and how the absence of this love impacts an individual. Scott does a very admirable job of bringing out both realities in the poem. Okay, now here is stanza-wise analysis of the poem. The poem is short, but we have this stanza-wise analysis here, and the poem centers on the theme of nationalism, that is patriotism. In the first stanza of the poem, the hard-hearted love of his homeland or motherland condemns a selfish wealthy man, despite all his power, titles and pride, to ultimate dishonor. This man, the speaker says, is a wretch, concentrated all in self and living self-forfeit, fear renown. He will die unwept, unhonored and unsung. In the second stanza, this wealthy aristocrat is contrasted to the picture painted of a small man who loves his country, who is a true patriot. The voice shifts to first person as the speaker, full of appreciation and an overflow of emotion towards his native land, says, "What mortal hand can ever untie the filial band that knits me to thy rugged strand?" He states that he loves his native Scottish people, or Scotland, with its rugged heath, mountains and shaggy woods. He recognizes it as his blood, the land of his forebears. This poem clearly favors nationalism, love of homeland and ancestry over a focus on the self. Okay, that's all with the discussion of patriotism by Sir Walter Scott. I'm sure you got the points. If you are new to my channel, I request again, please subscribe my channel, and if you have been watching it for a long time, please share this video among your friends and fellows. Thank you very much for your time and patience.